What would you do if you were told you had to preach in 6 hours? This is actually a thing that happened to me a lot when I was in seminary, serving in a church as their youth pastor, and our senior pastor was part-time, lived around an hour away. He was older and his wife was older. They had some health complications, and it was not odd for him to come up to me after church on Sunday morning saying, hey, listen, we're not going to be able to make it in, or my wife is feeling too bad. Can you preach this evening? Or he would call me sometimes on Saturday, like at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and say, hey, listen, it's just not going to happen tomorrow morning. We don't feel well at all. Or, hey, we feel kind of bad. I can do Sunday morning. Can you do Sunday night? So I would scramble to the library before it closed for the weekend at 5 o'clock. I'd grab the resources I think I needed to, and I would just have to work on getting a sermon ready and preachable as quickly as possible, not with the lead in that I would like. It was time to focus on getting a message together that was ready to preach. Now, John Wesley, the founder of the Methodist movement, had a phrase where he said he wanted his preachers to always be ready to preach, pray, or die. And in those scenarios, the way that you're able to practice sermon design really matters. Sermon design is bigger than just prepping a message out and spending hours upon hours in the text. And over the last 5 or 10 years, as ministry just gets busier and busier, and as it seems that the responsibilities that we have as ministry leaders just starts to grow, many times we don't have the luxury to spend 10, 15, 20 hours a week in the study. Yet again, that's where sermon design comes into play. And all of those years ago, almost 20 years ago, I began to develop a sheet that I could always use to make sure I was focusing in on what really mattered. Learning how to carefully craft a message that people need to hear. And since then, how I've always done it is some version of this sermon sheet right here. This thing has been iterated probably 15 to 20 times over the last 15 years or so. And I want to give it to you for free. And it's just one resource out of several on a mini course I have coming out later this year called Prepare Focused Messages. These are all of the tools that I've developed over the years to practice the art of sermon design, of staying focused on a clear-cut message that's both discerned by the Spirit, but also crafted to make sure people understand it and take it home with them at the end of the day. With that, I've got stuff on word studies, I've got stuff on outlining, I've got things on carefully crafting what I call a Monday moment and creating other statements. I've got a worksheet called Growing or Knowing. It's one of the most recent ones I've developed in the last couple of years as I've focused more and more on application. I've got what I call the stair step worksheet of something I learned from Nancy Duarte about how to craft out what is and what could be. All of these are great resources, and it's going to be cheap. It's going to be like 27 bucks. So I'd love for you to join the wait list for Prepare Focused Sermons. Get that sermon worksheet for free, and then when it goes live on December 27th, make sure you jump on that 72-hour window that cart is open.